Today, I have a killer video for you guys, and I waited a long time for this one. 75 days to be exact, because it took me 75 days to dry age this prime brisket. I got this amazing idea from my friend Guga, who has a YouTube channel as well. It's called Guga Foods. Go check him out. He does some absolutely killer videos with FOGO charcoal. So Guga did this video 4 months ago about a 60-day dry age brisket, and it turned out absolutely spectacular. I was drooling all over my keyboard. I was staring at the screen in disbelief. Every time he sliced through that brisket, the juices were flowing like crazy, and I just had to have it. Like, I had this like tremendous FOMO, you know. I was like, oh my God, I have to make this. And so I looked at how do you dry age a brisket, or where do you get a dry age brisket? And so basically there's this company that's called UMAi-Dry, and they make these plastic bags that you put the meat in, and then you can dry age at home in your fridge. So I got myself one of those. I got myself a prime brisket, and I dry aged it for 75 days. And today's the day that we're gonna smoke this brisket. So let me show you how to do it. After 75 days of dry aging in my fridge, I was excited to finally smoke this brisket. I started trimming off all the dry aged bark and some of the fat, and I tried to remove as little as possible to keep the brisket as large as possible. To season the brisket, I only use salt and pepper. I wanted to go really simple on the seasoning and really let those dry age and those beef flavors come through. For today's cook, I used the FOGO Super Premium Charcoal because the large chunks are ideal for a long all-night cook without the need to refuel halfway through the night. I also added some pecan wood and set the smoker to 225 degrees. I like adding a water pan that will catch some of the drippings and avoid them from getting burned. And it also helps to keep the smoker moist and keep the temperature constant all night long. Once the brisket entered the stall at around 165 degrees internal temperature, I wrapped it in pink butcher paper to speed up the cook. After more than 12 hours on the smoker, our brisket was finally ready. It hit an internal temperature of 198 degrees, but I pulled it mainly by feel. It felt like gelatin, soft and wiggly. I then wrapped it in towels and put it in a cooler to rest for another hour or two. All right. Hey Ron, thanks for coming again.
Thanks for having me, Sebastian.
I have something really special for you today. So I got this brisket at the end of January, put it in an Umai-Dry aging bag, and dry aged it for 75 days.
Wow.
And you won't believe it because it looks totally tiny, but this brisket was 17 pounds when I put it.
Really?
It was
Amazing.
17 pounds when I put it in the dry age bag. But I guess, you have some loss during the dry aging process.
Sure.
Then I trimmed it. And I guess, we had a lot of, a lot of the fat just rendered and shrunk the brisket like crazy. So I think we should try this.
It's a cute little brisket.
Yeah, I don't know what the taste is gonna be like. It smells a little funky, smells a little cheesy. What do you feel?
I don't know. I don't really smell that. I smell the nice smoke flavor come through,
Yeah?
and it looks outstanding. That bark is wonderful.
All right, let's go for it.
Okay.
What do you want to try first?
I'm gonna try this one right here.
Let's see.
Wow, it just comes right apart. Oh man, that's good.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have one. Oh yeah, look at this.
I've never had a dry aged one before, and
Super thick.
I think that passes the pen test.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah, it does have a slightly different flavor.
Yeah.
But oh, it's good. That's just falling apart. Too.
For sure, it has like a funk to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got a little different flavor. I've had dry aged meats before where I tasted it and went, whoa, that's strong. I don't find it to be real strong.
Huh?
No, I'm quite surprised. That's delicious.
Yeah.
Now, what kind of brisket was this? What'd you start with here?
It's a prime brisket.
Oh, prime brisket. Nice.
Yeah. I feel it's a little funky.
It's
I
definitely
don't know,
got-
like mushroomy or cheesy. I can't put my finger on it.
I
but
think I think I'm looking for cheesy, and I'm not getting cheesy. But like you said, mushroomy, almost earthy, like an earthy
Yeah.
kind of flavor. Oh, it's really good though.
but it's really good. Yeah. Look, I'm dipping it in the fat.
Yeah, well, what's amazing to me is the amount of juices that are still inside the paper here
That's crazy.
after all of that rendered out.
Let's try the point. Look at this. Wow. This is crazy, like super decadent. Look at this. Wow. Yeah, you can get one.
Thank you.
Little morsel of joy.
Oh yeah.
Man.
Now I got that flavor a little stronger. Oh yeah. Oh
But,
boy, is that
but
good
for
though.
sure, it has a nice smoke and bark too. I used pecan with salt and pepper.
Nice.
So you have a fantastic bark and the great like smoke profile.
Sure.
Really nice.
Yeah. Boy, it's amazing looking. I'm gonna have to try one more piece. So now, how long did this smoke for?
But it's totally. Sorry, I'll get back to you right away. But I'm just, I did a brisket last week, and you get what you expect, right? Like a regular brisket. I think I put what did I put? Like Lane's brisket wrap on it.
Right.
And it's just perfect. Like you get a perfect crust, maybe a little bit dry, but you put on a sandwich. It's really nice.
Sure.
But this is very different. Like, I mean, even when we shaved off the dry aged parts yesterday, it was almost like ham, like cured,
Right.
pusciotto or something like that.
Yeah.
Like it was
Yeah,
crazy, and I feel it has a bit of. That's maybe the taste profile that I'm looking for. It has like that hammy, that pusciotto kind of flavor to it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it definitely tastes a little bit different than what my normal brisket tastes like. But I mean, it's actually, I think it's almost even more tender if that's possible, because I mean, it's it's not fall apart, but it pulls apart real nice and easy, and that flavor, I actually really enjoy that flavor.
Yeah.
I think it's delicious. I
Yeah,
love
it's
the
good.
texture of it.
It's different, I can't really put my finger on it yet. I don't know if I love this, if I want to do it again, but it's for sure it's different. I would totally do it again, but maybe not every time.
Right.
like
Yeah.
for
There's
special occasions.
Something a little different. Well, I mean, 75 days, you got a lot of time invested in it. That's a long time, But it's something different. I'm not sure if it's 75 days worth of work and anguish is worth it.
How many times did I want to eat it in those 75 days? Like,
That's my
okay,
problem.
is it time to take the brisket out? You have a pickle to
Okay, I'm gonna join.
clean your palate a little bit.
Well, you know what? Too, with a family of 4, I'm not sure that I'd be allowed to have a brisket in the refrigerator for
No.
75 days.
Every day I walk past the refrigerator, I'm like, it's time to make the brisket.
So,
Yeah. No, so basically, we put it on, I think last night around 7, 8. Real nice and slow, 225, 250. Let it smoke all night long. I put on some pecan wood. And then this morning at around 8, it hit 198 internal temperature. I wiggled it a little bit. Look, you know, super super
like
tender,
jelly,
super wiggly. Check this out, like still the juices are flowing like crazy. And I just figured, you know, this is ready.
Yeah.
And I took it off, put it in the cooler, you know, wrapped it in towels, and it's just been sitting and resting for about 2-3 hours in the cooler, pretty much.
Sure. You know, you said something interesting is that you went to about 198. A lot of people think, oh, I have to go to 203, you know? Each brisket to me is a little bit different. I've had them done at 198. I've had them done at 210. You know, you kind of got to go by feel and by touch and let that thing jiggle. Once it's jiggling, you're good. You know, that's really good though. That's interesting. I've never tried the dry age before like that, and I think it's a little bit different. It's definitely a little bit different, but it's delicious and it's tender. And you know, if nobody's ever tried it before, I suggest trying it.
You know, this brisket kind of disappeared on us a little bit. You know, I still can't believe we went from 17 pounds, you know, like literally a brisket like this long, to about this size. But I think what happened here is, in the dry aging, the fat changes. Something happens to the fat, you know?
That could be.
And it just changes. You look at this fat, you know? It doesn't look like your normal sort of fat. And a lot of the fat just rendered out of the brisket. That's why we have so much, like, I mean, I've never seen so much juice.
That's a lot of juice.
Yeah, I've never seen so much juice when cutting a brisket. This is crazy. It's like a little lake of fat.
Yeah, well, when you took it out of the cooler, it leaked through 3 layers of paper and into the towels, you know? So, I mean, you know you have a lot of juice. And there's still an entire pool sitting
and
here.
That's where our brisket is, basically. It just like rendered down, and that's how it shrunk, pretty much.
Yep. Well, like you said, the fat's a little bit different, too. It's really kind of like more gelatiny, I think, or something like that. It's softer than what it normally comes out
and tastier, you know? It's not nasty sort of fat. It's like, look at this. Like, when you cut it, it's just... it glides right through.
Yep. I noticed even the color almost looks a little bit different, a little more red than normal, I think, or something like that. But oh, that's delicious.
Very
though.
nice.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, I could see you doing this every once in a while as a special occasion or something like that. But as a normal thing, you know, you start with a good brisket.
Too much time.
Yeah. And I like that you kept it simple with the rub. Salt and pepper, that's my favorite thing to rub a brisket with.
Yeah.
You know?
That is crazy. That's a good point to talk about, right? So, like, I feel this has a ton of flavor. It really does. It has like a ton of flavor. You know, it's not bland by any means. And just salt and pepper and a little bit of smoke.
Sure.
I think the dry age, and that way the dry age really comes through. It gave this brisket a ton of flavor. Crazy amounts of flavor.
Well, and that's the nice part about starting with like a prime brisket or something like that is, you know, the fat, to me, fat equals flavor. So you're starting out with something with plenty of fat in it already. Let the meat speak for itself, and let you know. I don't want to cover it up. I like the addition of flavors, but to me, that's a really good brisket right there.
All right, guys. I think this is it. I think this was a fantastic episode. We did something different, learned something new, and I hope to see you guys again next week. Don't forget to subscribe.